We're gonna get my little buddy lined out here and get a little altitude. Okay, that road you see right there is just dead ahead from where we're parked. This is the north side of this patch of timber. Around here, just around this corner, kind of right out here on this little point, there used to be a fence. I think there's still part of it going down through there. But I have an elk 6-point bull hanging on the wall at home, and we call him Winkle because my granddaughter couldn't say Bullwinkle, and that's kind of what he looked like, the way his nose had been bashed in. But he came from the other side of this canyon off of that far ridge, and Gene and I was right over here, and the elk, he was with about, I don't know, 4 or 5 cows. And they were hauling it down into that canyon, and Gene and I were hauling it down into this side, and we met him in the bottom and ended up having to pack him out. This canyon is pretty rough in the bottom. The elk come out of this patch of timber we flew down here below us. And when they go up, I'll stop right here and just pivot around. You can't really see it, but there's a low spot. And they angle up towards the top, and what they're trying to do is get above this little draw down here because it is so tight and bottled up that they don't like going through there. So what they do is they angle and go up through there, and it gives them a nice easy shot through this little low spot over here that's actually deep enough to hide an elk if you're 200 yards away. And they go down into this little draw right here, and it gives them cover while they're heading towards the top of the ridge. Never, other than one bull, a 5-point, the first year in here I shot, did we see anything come off of this ridge where we're parked. They always came up through the trees, through the low spot, and up this little draw. Then when they get up in here, sometimes they go left, sometimes they go right, depending on how many hunters there are. There you can see that road that I told you a while ago winds around and goes over towards Bruton. And a lot of times those elk will come out right here on this side of this strip of timber. And it's a kind of a funnel up through a strip of timber here that gets them up into the thicker stuff, which eventually gets them up to the power line area, and they have to contend with the hunters up there. But if you look close, you can see the power lines up there. We came in along the power line road. Back up kind of in that direction up there is where the game reserve is, on the west side of the Colockum Pass Road. There's a couple of spots out in there where guys over the years have built ground blinds and what have you, but there you can see where we came in over there. See the road down below that goes down to where we're parked. I'll raise the camera up a little bit here. There's a lot of country up in here. Way over in there is Vantage and the wind farm of the turbines, and again out through the Columbia Basin, George. Probably Moses Lake is out straight ahead there somewhere. Quincy's off to the left, and you can see pothole lakes, little ones out through the everywhere out there. Pull the camera down a little bit. There you can see the road we came in from the right. You can see the other one going out. And this one down here goes down to where we're sitting. I'll stop here and let her hover and bring the gimbal up a little bit. You can see a lot of country. This canyon forks right there. One goes up to the right a little bit, and then the other one comes up over this way. Kind of run out of timber in this canyon right down there about where you can see. Back many decades ago in a completely different century, when Gene and I were up here and I shot the 6-point we call Winkle, he came up the bottom of this little draw you can see right here. I'll pull her down a little bit. Somewhere right down in here, he got up on the opposite side, and we ran into him, and he decided he was going to come home and live in our freezer, so that meant we had a pack out, and it took us several hours. It's something I couldn't do now, but back then we didn't know any better. You shoot him where he lands, and you have to go get him and bring him home. There used to be a lot more brush and cover in here. Kind of gets into an open hillside right here. Out ahead is that timber we did the tour of before. Sometimes the elk will come right along this side over here, and sometimes they go right up the middle of that. You never know. But there's what's left of the road. Swing around the side here. There you can see the remains of that fence down there. And I think you can see the gate across the road there on the left, but that's where our truck was parked when we saw Winkle come off the far ridge. This big canyon over here, they don't do it anymore, but back when we started hunting up here, there was an outfitter had a camp in the lower end of that canyon. And he had clients, and they came in there and hunted elk, and a lot of times it helped us because they'd push the elk up and they'd end up in this little patch of timber. This looks like a good road right there, but it's not. Let me get up here so you can see a little more of the country. A lot of it looks kind of flat, but trust me, it's not. And those elk can go across through here. What would take us a half an hour to hike across, they can do it in just a few minutes.